I scouted every inch of this place. You know what I mean? I wanted to find the best spots. But that afternoon, I hadn't seen any deer. So I waited and I waited, looking for some kind of sign. Finally, I seen movement. I was like, yeah, here we go. You know, I got one coming down, and I actually got my bow up and I got ready for this deer to come out. It stopped behind a tree. It would have been 30, 35 yards away from me. It'd have been a good shot. I would have been able to have if it would have came out broadside, I would have had a good shot on it. I seen movement again. Yeah, my heart started going. I'm pumped up now, all right. And I thought it was the deer coming out. But it was a man. It was as if he was floating across the woods. I didn't see legs walking. His arms didn't sway. He didn't look down like you would look in the woods to see if you're walking on anything. I couldn't make sense of it. I picked up my binoculars. Maybe, you know, I would be able to figure out a little bit better. It looked like somebody from the 1700s. He's got a judge wig on and one of those shirts on is ruffled, like down the middle. And I heard this scream. It scared me. And I'm never afraid in the woods, you know. And I was getting scared now. But then when I was watching, he disappeared, gone. But I'm still looking like he's got to be there. You know, I'm still looking at this tree. He's got to be there. And I'm looking, and it's just not there. He's not there. I knew I seen something that couldn't be explained. It was an uncomfortable feeling, so I called my buddy up.
Hey, Brandon.
Come to my spot, quick.
What's up?
I told him first, I said, Brandon, I was looking and I seen a guy that was dressed like he was in the 1700s and he just disappeared here.
You're messing with me. Man, I'm not joking.
He knew I was serious. Like from that point on, it started getting towards the end of dusk. It does tend to get darker a lot quicker than it does outside of the woods. And I wanted to show Brandon where this was at before it got completely dark out.
He disappeared right by this tree root.
It's muddy right there. I would have seen tracks, no doubt about it. 100% would have seen tracks.
Well, there's nothing.
There's no footprints there. I thought that I seen a ghost. Something's happening and it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good.
Nothing's been through here. All I see is our footprints.
It was a sickening feeling. And I felt like I was being watched even.
Let's get our gear and go.
I was within 35 yards from my tree stand, and not only that, I mean, I'm standing exactly where I seen this guy go through while I was in my tree stand, so I knew exactly where I was at least I thought that I did. We thought we walked right back at the tree stand, and we couldn't find it.
The tree stand should be right here.
I never was lost in those woods before. I knew those woods like the back of my hand.
We must have lost our bearings back there.
What other thing can you think of? We know all of that woods so well. But we figured we're just gonna walk straight and we'll just go to a light and see where we're at. But we're walking and it was 45 minutes to an hour. We're still back in these woods. And you gotta understand, like, this is 10 minutes at the most to get out of these woods. Every other time. The weirdest part was, like, what we were walking through didn't feel like the same woods anymore.
I don't recognize any of this.
We hear this scream. It sounded like somebody getting murdered. In fact, Brandon said that that's what it sounded like. He said, "Jeez, it sounds like somebody's getting murdered down in the thicket there." And it did. And it stopped. It was definitely not an animal. I know all those sounds in the woods. We thought maybe somebody's back there that needs help.
Come on, man.
This thicket was made up of thorns. A person wouldn't be in there. It didn't make sense to us. We don't know where we're at. And now we hear something like that in the thicket, screaming like that. You know, it just took us completely off guard.
Pick up the pace here, buddy.
What do we do here? Like, what's going on? Like, it's just, this is getting too weird now. That's when we heard something crashing through the thorn bushes, pushing stuff out of the way, like this to come towards us. I felt like that we went from being the hunters to being the hunted, and I didn't even know what we were being hunted by. And I just was kind of bewildered by the whole thing. Whatever it was didn't run away. It wasn't like it seen us and we spooked it and it ran away like any other animal would do in the woods. My flashlight ran out. It was gone. It felt like something was in there hiding, looking at us. It was like almost like it was playing with us, almost like you're a toy.
Let me see that light.
Immediately, I was like struck, like,
This is our footprint.
I told Brandon, I was like, "Brandon, look where you're at." I said, "Is that the same trees where we started?" We were standing in the exact same area where I seen the guy come across. How are we there? We didn't walk in a circle. I mean, it's almost like we just appeared there again.
Hey, Danny, you want to get that light fired up?
Yep.
The cables that you put on the battery, we've used them for so long. They're all taped together, and they came unconnected 3 or 4 times. But he finally gets the lights going.
Oh, hey, you got one? All right. There we go. Come on, baby.
And as I'm pulling it,
All right. Hey, brother. Good job, brother. Oh,
lights go out.
Get that off that hook. Put that baby in the cooler.
That's when all of this started.
Your Tina's not gonna be happy.
what?
Shh. Y'all hear that?
I start hearing growling. This thing's like breathing harder and like growling harder.
Sounds like you got company.
We didn't know till later, but it wasn't just a big old animal that's just out there walking around. It was something else. You always think, oh, there's an answer for everything. Not for this.
Danny, go get that light going again.
At that point, all I was doing was just trying to figure out what it was. Danny puts the light on there, then it just stops.
Let's get back while that spotlight's still working.
Yeah.
It felt like an automobile just fell right next to the boat from the sky.
What the hell was that?
It was like a freaking volcano just erupted. Whatever threw that had to have a massive amount of just brute strength. I feared for my life. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if whatever threw that was going to come after us or what.
Everybody's eyes are following the light. And we're trained always to find animals' eyes at night. You look. The lights keep coming off. And I'm cussing him, get the damn light, get the light on, get the light on. When it hit him, you don't ever forget it. The first thing you see is the eyes. Different than a deer or a raccoon or a hog or anything. The strangest thing you've ever seen.
There was just evil and death. It's like he was kind of looking at me, and it's like he wanted to take my soul. It was on all fours. It was about 5.5, 6 feet, and staring us down. That's when it stood up.
It was a bone-on-bone noise. It was almost like you crack your knuckles, but if you just had a massive knuckle and you're just cracking them, it was so solid.
It's like he had to break his bones to stand up. And when the bones stopped cracking, it was every bit of 10 foot tall. Lots of things went through my mind. Is it something that's escaped from hell? You're petrified. Danny ripped the spotlight out so it went totally dark. And then I look back over at him and it's almost like he disappeared.
Where'd it go?
But as soon as that happened, I started hearing the leaves cracking as it was walking.
We're used to deer walking, we're used to things in the woods, we're used to bears walking, we understand, we know what they sound like. It was a little different.
Get that lock on, come on, man.
This was heavy, loud, and purposeful.
Oh, man.
And it was starting to get closer.
Danny!
I thought, I hope I'm not gonna die. I got a kid, I got a family.
Come on!
I panicked. Danny had this lighter to see what was going on. After like 6 or 7 times, it finally stayed on. I heard like a hissing sound, like air being shot out of giant tractor tires.
Shine your light over there.
When deer are trying to alert other animals, they let out what they call a wheeze. It's they expel a bunch of air. It was very similar to that, except 10 times. It's so forceful. Was he scaring us, or was he alerting something else? And there he is. Looked like it was crunched down more, Was it, and I think, was it smaller? Was it a different one? Was there another one?
There's 2 of them.
I thought, I'm gonna die.
Come on, man, get out of the way, here.
So next thing is, get the damn motor started. And I pull the cord. I take good care of my engines. They always start.
Come on, start.
But of course this time, it wouldn't start.
He tries to start it again. And then that's when we started hearing like freaking just like a bulldozer going through the woods, crashing through the trees.
When that happens, you know you're dying. Okay? I knew in that moment, in those seconds, you think about years of things. My kids, my wife, my mom and dad, you know what's gonna happen. You know you're not getting out of there.
It was just us 3 boys alone playing around the trailer. As we're running around from the trailer, chasing sticks in our hands, we were on the back side of the trailer.
What was that?
And the scream sounded like a woman being murdered or ripped apart.
Let's go check it out.
It was extremely loud and terrifying.
But Herman said we can't go into
Come on, let's go check it out.
But there really was not much of a group discussion. It was more like we were drawn to what had screamed, and we just had to go see what it was. That was kind of creepy, but let's go check it out. I'm not sure if it was just the adrenaline and the fear that we had from hearing what we had heard, but we made our way towards the woods.
I'm not sure we should be doing this.
Don't be scared. Come on, it's fun. Let's keep going.
The one thing I do remember is, there were no birds. There were no crickets. There were no noises.
Robert, I want to go back.
You go back if you want to.
The farther back you went, the more thick the trees were. That's when we heard the sound.
Stay close. We need to go home. Just keep together.
As we're walking, we heard a crack.
Stop. Look.
We looked up, and about 15 feet up, we saw what, at the time, only thing I could compare it to was something from the Planet of the Apes. It was the hairy man. I mean, that's all we knew what to call it, because I had nothing else to compare it to before. I had never heard of Bigfoot. I've never heard of Sasquatch. It was something that was never introduced to us. When we looked up, it was squatted down with its left hand holding onto the tree. It didn't have any emotion on its face. It was just a stone look on its face. It just seemed like it was observing us.
What's it doing?
Shh.
Be still.
We were terrified. And then when we made eye contact with it, it made eye contact with us. That's when it made a move. It all came crashing down.
It's coming!
So as kids, there's no fight or flight, it's just flight. We were terrified. We had to get out of the situation. was that day that I realized in order to survive with my older brothers, I needed to be a faster runner.
Hey, Jimmy, it's coming!
My oldest brother beat us back to the trailer.
Open it up! Open it up! I can't, it'll get in! Go hide!
We tried to get in, pounded. He locked the door.
Open it!
It felt like this is it, for sure. We're goners. It's got us. I was too scared.
Here, quick!
Right outside our back door was an old freezer chest. It had a plexi-top type glass top to it. So me and my brother, we had no other option. We jumped in it. We could see its silhouette through the top. It was right there. We felt like there was no way out, that this wasn't going to end good. It sounded like a horse. We did not know if it was getting ready to tip the thing over and tear us apart. It stood there for a second, paused briefly, and then it walked away.
I think it's gone.
We burst out of there, and as soon as we burst out of the freezer, my older brother opened the door and said, "Get in here, it's gone. Get in here, it's gone." When we first got into the trailer, I think there was a lot of bickering about how could you lock us out?
How the hell could you have done that?
How could you leave us out there? Why did you leave us out there?
You just left us out there to die! We're not dead now, are you?
But there was a sense of relief, a sense of safety. We aren't going back outside. There's no way we're going back outside. We're in that trailer. I did not want to see what I saw ever again.
Come on, guys. It's okay. Mom and Dad will be home soon. I promise.
We're in the back bedroom, our bedroom. It's dark, and my brothers have this flashlight that flashes silhouettes on the wall.
I better get here quick. Booga booga. I'm a hair man.
Stop it, Alan.
Oh, jeez, I'm just kidding. It's just a joke, Jimmy.
Basically, my brothers are playing how much can we scare our little brother.
What are you looking at? It's back. It's out there.
It was huge. It took up the whole entire window. A man-shaped silhouette. It would have to be upwards to 8.5 to 9 feet tall. It was, if you were looking at the Incredible Hulk with hair. The only thing separating me was a piece of glass. We were all petrified.
What was that?
Something had smashed into the back of our back door, outside of our bedroom door. It was almost like it was its way of getting in. We're terrified. We didn't really know what to do.
There was something very weird back there. Let's get back to the car.
It was only going to be a 10 to 15 minute walk. It wasn't anything that we hadn't done before. We'd been in these woods before, we're familiar with them.
As we walked back into the forest, I remember the forest being quiet. I don't remember hearing other sounds. No crickets, nothing. It was quiet. It was within probably 5 minutes of being back in these woods, we were like, where are we?
Look around. Where are we?
We're right by the,
As we got deeper into the woods, we started to realize that we were getting confused.
Wait, we were on the path.
It was like it was a completely different area. And we had made that walk about an hour before with zero problem.
It's this way. Come on.
Wait.
We started taking the wrong paths. It seemed like things had changed.
This confusion set in to where we didn't necessarily know which direction we were walking.
Should we turn this way? Should we turn that way?
It's that way, right?
No, it's that way. We're going that way.
We were irritated, we were frustrated.
We're going that way.
It drove us nuts. I mean, this has been almost 10 years. I still can't explain to you why this was happening.
Come on. There's a trail up ahead.
I see ahead of us there's a path, and we're gonna just walk down that, and I suggest, hey, let's see if we can just follow this path, and maybe this will help us get out.
We've already been here. We're walking around in circles, Jesse.
Shh.
Did you hear that?
And in the midst of that, I start to hear like twigs snapping.
We started hearing these loud thuds behind us.
Probably just a deer.
And obviously there's a lot of deer in Iowa. So immediately I started to just assume it's probably a deer.
And it sounded like footsteps, but like heavy footsteps, not like a human.
There's no way that's a deer.
It was something very large.
It was probably between 10 o'clock and midnight. I started to just like try to figure out what could be following us. I mean, we're in the middle of the woods at night, what could it be? There was a tense feeling in the air. You have the feeling where your hair is standing up on the back of your neck.
I don't think we're alone here.
And we look up and we find this very large branch that had been twisted off. 8 foot up, like snapped. It had been like literally just wound and just snapped off. And there was this substance on it.
And this clear residue was dripping from the bite mark.
Something's been chewing on it?
Do you realize how big that thing would have to be to get up there?
It looked like saliva dripping down the branch.
You're right. We're definitely not alone out here.
I would say these sounds they were probably definitely 30 to 40 feet behind us.
Who's out there?
I'm looking and I'm seeing nothing. And that was what also added to the whole confusion.
Who's out there?
you're trying to rationalize what could be following you. I don't think deer like to follow people. We started to hear what seemed like bodies moving through the woods.
Dude, do you hear that?
They seem to be coming towards us.
We were both basically frozen in fear.
I don't like this, man.
I have no idea what could be coming at us.
There's definitely something out there.
We just want it out.
Bro, let's get out of here.
It felt like there's 2 or 3 individual things following us.
Seth, wait up. Seth, we gotta find a way out of here.
It seems like something is pushing us through the woods, in a sense, in a specific direction.
I think we're almost there. Stay here.
I remember being scared, like, I don't know if we're gonna make it out tonight. We're either gonna be stuck in here until daylight, or we're just not gonna make it out. So I go down to the left, ended up finding a track.
This way!
But we split up.
Jesse!
Seth? I still couldn't see my brother Seth.
Where are you?
Seth! And then that's when I started to hear this rustling across the path.
Seth, where are you? Seth!
I could see broad, square shoulders covered in hair, a giant head, which was encased with these red eyes, and long flowing hair that drooped down onto the shoulders as well. The head was probably roughly the size of a good-sized pumpkin. And then the shoulders, my goodness, probably 4 feet across. I mean, the only thing I could compare it to would be a giant gorilla. So directly in front of the creature is this fallen tree. So that tree probably had to weigh at least a couple 100 pounds, maybe 300-400 pounds. And with one big hand, it just slammed it down onto the tree and pushed that tree out of the way with 0 effort. That tree flew through the air, crashed through the woods.
Seth! Jesse! Help! Seth!
Bigfoot researchers think this could be a form of communication for these creatures. Something mimicked what he did. Something else knocked on a tree. At that moment, that's when I realized what it was. It had to be Bigfoot. No other animal has hands to pick up a stick and not, hit a tree. It had to be a Bigfoot. I started getting really afraid.
Okay, everybody be calm. Gwen, get your phone out. We're gonna see if we can get this on video right now.
Mike said, we need to get footage of this. We need to get video, we need to get audio.
Let's check this out. We've heard footsteps, movement, and a definitive wood-on-wood knock, tree knock, not 200 feet from us.
I thought we are communicating. See how far we can go.
It died.
What do you mean it died? Here, look. There you go. Just keep filming, Gwen. No matter what happens, just keep rolling the camera, okay?
We heard something come in a little closer.
The wood knock happens up on the ridge. The footsteps happen down below us. Now, wait a minute. How can that one come down here that quick?
I believe that we've got two creatures. One over here, one back here. They're watching us right now. This way. That way.
We start hearing things go on all around us. And I'm thinking, uh-oh. What's going on here?
I was so in my own world, listening to everything and sort of like in a panic.
Listen, it's communicating with us. Here, let's try this.
My nerves at that point got a little crazy.
Gwen, what are you doing?
I didn't want to look silly, but I felt comfortable in my little circle.
Hey, Gwen, are you okay?
Just go.
Here, give me the phone, okay?
And all of a sudden, from nowhere, here's a growl. You know, just this. I said, did you hear that?
I heard a growl. It sounded to me demonic.
And that's when everything got a little crazy. It was a lot of excitement, a lot of fear, and I hadn't really thought out the dangers of what I was getting myself into.
It was just like hell broke loose, really. It was, they went wild.
They're very animalistic sounding. They were real low and really growly and really loud.
Just the sound that they were making was terrifying. I mean, it was bone chilling. It would sound like way back on the mountain, and then sound so close to us, it was like right on us. We were surrounded. I mean, they were all right on us.
As long as I was in my circle, I felt okay. I knew if I left my circle that it would become more frightening.
Start hearing chatter back and forth like they're talking to each other. But it's not like humans talk. It's murmur.
I heard something else in that.
Not really a whistle, but I don't know.
It was more like some kind of chatter.
That was enough. I had to get out of there. I was just going to take off and run myself.
Mike, we have to go now.
I reached over and touched Kenny, and I could feel that he was scared. I realized I had to get these two out of here.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. I'm ready to get out of here, too. Come on, Glenn, we gotta go. They're getting closer, okay?
Michael said it's time to go.
You guys just go ahead. I'm better off here.
And I said, no, I'm okay in here. I said, just go ahead. He said, no, you're coming. You need to come with us.
No, we can't stay. We gotta go. Come on, let's get out of here. Come on, guys, we gotta go. Come on, let's go.
Once I left my circle, that's when I felt the real fear.
Come on, guys, let's go. Look, walk slowly, don't run, okay? If we run, this thing will chase us. This thing is a predator. If we run, we're dead.
I hear this stomping coming toward us. A very fast rate. Doo, 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 doo.
Shh.
And you could hear each heavy footfall as it just came rushing, just loud footsteps. I was like, oh my God.
Listen.
You've heard people talking about your life flashing before you. I was going through my mind of like, if we get attacked, what's my family gonna do? I honestly thought we would die.
It was angry. It wanted us gone. It wanted us out. That was pure fear.
I heard in the distance, sounded like someone was walking on the driveway. I thought it was my mom coming back to make breakfast. There was a fog, like a low mist hovering over the ground a little bit, but I couldn't see anyone. But then I saw this thing, and he was standing off in the distance. It was maybe about 50 yards or so. It was just standing there, and the best I can describe it is the guy who had deer legs and the face. It looked like someone wearing a hollowed out deer skull. I couldn't see his eyes, but then it turned its head to me. Where the eyes should be, you just see black holes. We looked at each other, and that's when I knew it was something else. I kind of got scared, so I hid below the windowsill. I could hear one footstep hit the gravel driveway, and then from there I hear 3. Next thing I know, it's at the cabin. The distance from the porch of the cabin to the end of the driveway is about 50 feet. I don't know if it jumped or if it flew or what, but it covered that ground in 3 steps, and it was on the porch. It started to walk up the stairs. It was about 3 feet from the door at that point. I was confused and really scared.
Let me in.
I remember hearing my mom's voice.
Don't leave me out here.
I thought maybe what I saw was in my mind and my mom was on the porch. I wasn't sure if I should look out the window to see if my mom's there or just stay there hiding.
Open the door!
If it was my mom, she would keep asking me, or she would put down whatever she was carrying and open the door herself. And none of that happened.
I won't ask you again. Let me in.
It was still asking to come in my mom's voice, but every time that it was refused entry, it kind of got deeper.
Open the door. Answer me.
It sounded like someone recorded my mom's voice and played it backwards.
Open the door.
It happened within the blink of an eye, from trying to casually open the door to it kind of kicking and punching at the door. I didn't open the door because there was no way that was my mom.
Let me in.
It was the creature with the deer head.
Answer me.
It seemed like it was trying to break down the door. The main feeling was just fear of what's going to happen if it gets in. It just stopped hitting the door. It stopped asking to come in. I heard loud footsteps leaving the porch. And when I looked back up, it was gone. When my parents got back to the cabin, they said that they didn't see anything. They didn't hear anything while they were down at the lake. They didn't hear anything walking up. They said, you know, could have just been an animal who was eating a deer. I asked my parents, you know, if there was anything in the world that was like that. They said no. I didn't think that I would ever see it again. For years, I questioned what I saw a lot. It would come up, you know, every now and then when we're sitting around campfires or hanging out with friends. But it wasn't always on my mind until the second time that I saw it. It was a late May day. And it was crisp air, it was in the morning, it was beautiful. Cleanest air you can breathe in. It was about a 37-mile hike on the top of the Madison Range, so it was around 12,000 feet. There's not much wildlife up there, and my plan was just to hike from peak to peak. It was just me. There's not a lot of people that know about that trail. I was just hiking along the trail, just enjoying the scenery. I could hear birds singing in the distance. I can hear the wind, bugs, crickets. Then it got quiet. There wasn't any bird singing, there wasn't any bugs, there was nothing. I started feeling really anxious. It seemed like someone was watching me. I saw something standing off to the side. I thought maybe some crazy up in the woods of Montana playing jokes on people. I've seen deer, elk, moose, all that, and it wasn't anything like that. I saw what looked to be the creature again.